Alright, what made the game pause? They hit water? If they hit water, that means we're close to the taverns. Or caverns, not taverns. Also, the berries. If you want sandwich, why would you want sandwich? You already have the berries. I'm very funny. All right. Great. Let's go up one layer. You'll get a sandwich and some berries. Best of both worlds. Can they walk there? They should be able to. So if they're able to dig into this way and not collide with water, then we should be fine. But apparently we're hitting water, meaning there's caverns somewhere around here. Let's see what's below us. Oh, okay, it's just an aquifer. Down the aquifer. Well, that's annoying. Which is actually real annoying. Running to the store for sandwich supplies. Do I really make you guys crave sandwiches that badly? For whatever it's worth, I had a cream cheese and cucumber sandwich. Which is the help I'm skinny and I need to gain weight sandwich. At least that's what my Oma used to call it. Back when her memory worked better. I have a lot of rhinos. They're going to be dinner doughs now. Let's hope that they can dig up there. Even if they can't, I'm just going to ignore the aquifer. You have no time to go buy a sandwich? This is your, like, lack of forethought and planning problem of not having sandwich building supplies in your house at all times. I'm hoping that we can dig around it because I'm hoping that it's just this center bit colliding with the aquifer. This is annoying. Bet this is just going to be full of an aquifer all the time. At least we'll have drainage for it. I'm just worried it's going to be consistent enough in flow that it's going to need to be completely cleared out. But, this is just going to be real annoying to dig, most likely. I'm hoping that we'll dig back into the non-aquifer area, though. $131 dwarves. Still at fine frame rates, too. 10 years into this fort? I got tagged into a thread by ClinoDev the other day. That was posted by somebody who was claiming that it is impossible to play Dwarf Fortress with a full-size fort for more than 10 years in-game time and not be below playable frames. We're still at more than playable frames, and we're almost at 10 years in this one fort, so I guess that's a note for Clino if he wants it. If he was here right now, I'm sure he'd clip it. Really hope we're not going to need to deal with aquifers all the way through this. This is going to take forever to dig. Okay, let's do this. I dream of the day that we get disable warnings for wet stone as a toggle. I dream of that day. That day is not today. But this is such a light aquifer, I can largely ignore it. Assuming we dig out of it eventually. So chat, you realize you guys are all going to need to tell me about the kinds of sandwiches that you guys went and bought. Or happen to have the ingredients around for. You realize this, right? Setting everything up down here. Sprinkles. I don't think that's a sandwich ingredient, but maybe a dessert sandwich. Really hoping that I dig through this eventually. Do you have no vegetables in your house? If you only have the grilled cheese for a bologna cheese or grilled cheese? Or as Reddit would call it, a bologna melt? That's very big word. I know that this is for the skinks. Quattordecaplets? Talk about like words that never get to be used. Is that even a real word? Hold on. I'm trying to Google this. What? U-O-R-D-E-C-A-P-L-E-T. No, it's not a word. Apparently, it's 2 words. Okay. That's a lot of babies. You found sandwich. Well, I'm proud of your success in finding a sandwich. What's on that sandwich? Anyway, look at all these trained giant skinks I now have. Hells yeah. We are going to be living off of giant skink for a real long time. There you are. Slaughter one of the originals. "28 babies? Yep. I don't think that's 28, but it's a lot. A lot of babies. And there's already 14, 25, 12 more eggs left. And they're all trying to escape. Not that I blame them, of course. So this plan's going to be foiled if this is all sand. No, they're just adult giant skinks because giant animals don't have a baby variant. Because Dwarf Fortress is an unfinished mess. So these are all of my giant skinks. That are now just like running around the fort at random. I'm going to make this into a pen and pasture and put all of these pseudo-trained giant skinks in there. Okay, cool. I don't know. I think they're a like they're not breedable with the originals, so I would assume that they would be classified as their own animal species. So no, I don't want to lock the door. I just want to make it not pet passable. So all of my knowledge would state that they're their own species. Unfinished mess is the best sort of mess. Yeah, I do agree with that. I do like me an unfinished mess. Much better than a finished mess. Really hoping that we dig out of this corner. GG, what's up? Thanks for the Prime sub for a 7th month. Welcome back.
What's up, Crypt Bear?
It's the first notification of money in 3 hours. The first resub in 4 hours. Cheers. Chat, can I get a big round of beers for GG Constanza? Keeping that sub alive for another month. Yeah, this whole plan might be foiled by all this sand. I can maybe channel it down. But it's going to be tricky. The difficulty, though, of this thing has been greatly increased. Or rather, maybe not the difficulty, the annoyance level of this has been greatly increased. By this pesky little light aquifer. In fact, to the point where I need to make a drain. For this. Find other devs' passion projects inspirational, and I find it hard to keep going constantly at one project, and starting a new project is always much easier. I think that you're learning why game jams are important. But that's good. It's good that you feel inspired. Need to figure out how deep down we need to go to actually get to, Is that just full? Please tell me it's not. No, it's not. Let the tedium begin. Nice thing is this is all sand, though. Could theoretically make it into glass, but... doesn't change the fact that it's annoying as fuck. Do I not have a mechanic? Suppose not. Almost. You're a mechanic. Do mechanics things, you weirdo. Ah, well, found the caverns. So this isn't a lost cause. We found the first cavern deep underground. Which means maybe we can just use this as a drain, though, which is nice. Let's make 10 lead grates. At least I have a drain for this pesky aquifer. Yeah, Sui did raid us right at the beginning of the stream. Speaking of raids, holly golly, thanks for the raid. Roast. I hope that your fort was good. The side of your keyboard, your numpad is flat and slides. Only one sticky key. Only one sticky later. And the angle, and it's not sliding about. I still don't understand why you purchased a, like, separated numpad and keyboard. That just seems so unpleasant to me. I don't know. I guess I kind of respect it, but just seems so insufferable. I don't know. There's the little dribble drain. I had a keyboard that didn't have arrow keys or a numpad for a little bit, and I hated it. Hated it. Hated it. It was the worst keyboard I ever had. I hated that keyboard so much I had to get rid of it after just a couple of years with it. And I got it because I had a small desk. It was just so uncomfortable to use. Doesn't matter what kind of keyboard you have. The sizing was just uncomfortable. You don't need a numpad for most games. Like 99.9% of games that exist, you don't need a numpad. It's only the very specific niche games that we play here that you need a numpad for. I mean, you don't need arrow keys. WASD works just fine for that, but... But also, why are you using the arrow keys for any game? Gravity, probably, I would assume. Squug? No, not in Dwarf Fort. Although the premium version supposedly will be able to use WASD. Excel has games in it, I think. Allegedly. Hallelujah. Really, really hoping. No. It's just a little stretch. Okay, we're starting to hit not aquifer stone, which is nice. You use arrow keys for games, Squug? Nope. That is like the first thing I rebind. I either rebind it to numpad or WASD, always. I hate using arrow keys for inputs. It just feels, it's just uncomfortable and cramped on the hands. Numpad is much smoother. No, shit. I had no idea, Bastet. Of course everybody has a preference. That's just a preference I will never understand. Well, yeah, there's lots of preferences I will. I wonder if they're done constructing the top half of this. Summer's arrived on the calendar. This world takes a long time to save. But yeah, I don't understand how people play games on a lot of control methods, though, so I'm probably not the person to ask. It's just like I don't really understand how people play games on PlayStation controllers. I know PlayStation controllers are one of the most popular controllers in existence. I am incapable of using those. I don't know what is wrong with me or what is wrong with those controllers, but I am incapable of using PlayStation controllers. Damn, we may have finally made it past the aquifer. I don't think Sui would like Dwarf Fortress. And not because Dwarf Fortress is a bad game, but I don't think Sui would like it because Sui... How do I say this without being mean to Sui? Hold that thought. Vile Force of Darkness has arrived, meaning I need to lock the dwarves inside. And watch as this goblin horde arrives. Dwarf Fortress is a game about playing very slowly, reading a lot, and making your own fun. And it has absolutely no built-in tutorial and no in-game goals. Sui hates games that don't hold your hand and caress you on the forehead while it's teaching you how to play it. with every single tutorial message. She also likes games with very clear-cut goals that tell you specifically what needs to be accomplished and how to accomplish it. And this game has none of that. So yes, I would advise against you making her play it because I think she would hate it. On the item is an image of the rendition of the bad monster, so it's the same people attacking us. The hate of praises. Like, I love this game because of its intentional obtuseness and lack of tutorialization and discovery on behalf of the player, but Sui comes from a generation of people that wants... Like, I was watching Sui play a game called Ruin Arch, I think is the name of it. I own it. It's that game about being an evil person and kind of building a little colony and then invading little local towns. Super well explained. Tons of information all over the side of the screen. An in-game wiki, like, very self-explanatory how everything works. She didn't read anything, got mad every time a pop-up showed up to tell her what to do, kept closing everything, and then complained that the game had no tutorial. If you have that kind of attitude towards games that are, like, slightly obtuse, you will hate Dwarf Fortress. That's just kind of a fact. And I think that that's very unfortunate. We lost a dwarf? What? One of my dwarves is missing. Weird. You end up lacking motivation to play? Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I don't like it when games try and control the way I play. I get really frustrated when a game is like, you have to build this one way. It's like, fuck you, I do what I want. I take kind of the Rage Against the Machine approach to city builders. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Like, kind of situation, so. I like poorly explained games that don't hold my hand and... A Planters Guild has been established. Well, that's interesting. I have quit games because the tutorial is too long. Like, that's how much I dislike a game explaining itself. More often than not, if a game has a really long tutorial, I won't finish it because I can't be asked. If a game doesn't have the respect for my intelligence to just let me figure shit out. Which is why I love games that are just like, yo, figure it out yourself. Like some of my favorite stuff in games. Games that just let me figure them out. All right, so we now wait until they walk in the front door. Oh, there's a giant skink up here that they're trying to kill. Not one of mine, just a giant skink. Interesting, they didn't send any big dogs or trolls this time. It's just goblins. Uh-oh, speaking of goblins, one of them made a very... You know, this is the moment that this goblin realized that he fucked up. Amaxu? Nijiraxamotog? Wielding a copper mace and a copper shield and a troglodyte leather tunic? Hope you can swim. And defy gravity. Oh, hey, there's two. Two got him. So 2 kills for the waterfall. Good on you. Any more? Man, that is way too entertaining. Oh, 2 more. Two more. Whoop. And whoop. Any more idiots want to try the forbidden slide? Oh, there goes another one. And another one's gone, and another one's gone, and another one goes fucking splat. Because they do literally just get blown apart. They don't even, like, fall. They are nothing when they hit the bottom. Cannonball! Goblin ball! And now they're going after that giant skink. Very easily distracted, the goblins. They is. Oh, hey, there's a few of them coming in. All right, sweet. Can pay attention to this now. Please tell me they are retreating. Because they have lost a few. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. All right, hold on. Gotta pull this lever. Because I never locked the side door. I was like, why aren't they coming in the front door? Oh, because I never locked the side door. That makes a lot of sense. Bonk. There we go. Right in the nick of time. Literally right at the last second. Right before the goblins came in. Anyway. They no longer have that entrance, which is good. So now they can all just pile in here. So once again, if you haven't seen the water whoosh go off, now's a good time to look up at the stream because it's about to go off in about a minute. I want to play Cruelty Squad really badly because everything about that game fascinates me, Squug, but I'm terrified it's just going to make me throw up immediately, and I'm not going to be able to play it. I really want to play that game, though, because it looks so cool. Everything about that game and all of, like, the artistry behind it and everything that it stands for and, like, everything I've heard about that game sounds awesome, and I want to play it, but I'm scared shitless of playing it. All right, let's close my drains because this thing is drained. Hold this lever and this lever. Because I've got a few things that need to be closed first. Really look like more of them are coming in. All right, we got to close the doors. Let's do that. So this front door, close that. Wrap lock, close that. They might actually make it in, but that's okay. I can just go kill them. Yep, one made it. Oh, only one. Easy peasy. This goblin's like, it suddenly just got very quiet in here. What happened? Meanwhile, front door isn't closed yet. Should probably close that, guys. Front door has been pulled. Okay. Sweet. Front door is closed. And looks like all the drains are sealed. Excellent. So once again, chat, if you've never seen the water trap go off, we're about to give all these goblins a forceful shower. Just remember, after all this time, traps still go whoosh. Gotta get a round of beers for all these goblins about to die. You see this? I'm going to move the game forward one turn at a time. One turn. One turn. One turn. That's how quickly the water spreads. One in-game tick. It'll probably take a couple of seconds for them to be hit by the wall of water. But we get to move forward at like a second at a time. Now the game's unpaused. Everything that's blue is drowning. Which is good, Portion of them. A bunch of them are still up above ground, though. It's okay. They're the ones that can tell the tale of how all their friends died. Oh yeah, you got subbed. You got gifted a sub, so you don't need to do it that way. I know, just for dramatic effect once they've all drowned. Still drowning. Oh, sweet. And then that goblin up here is dead. Excellent. I don't think I lost any dwarves. Nope. The siege is now done, and the extras are leaving. So we are going to do the natural water spray of the big whoosh. So this is what happens when we just open up the traps and drain it. Just gotta wait for a dwarf to pull the lever first, of course. There they go. There's one. And this is the other one draining, right? About... Yeah. Did they not pull it? Oh, here it goes. Less water, because there was less water to come out all at once. It really is. It's like something out of Lord of the Rings. I fucking love it. Absolutely awesome. While those dwarves down here continue to dig that. And a chief treasurer has arrived, although we do need to allow them in, because I don't even think they can get in right now. I'm actually going to, how deep is this? I think I'm actually going to stop the pumps for a little bit. I'm just going to let this drain out. And the reason we're going to let it drain is because there's some bodies down there I want to clean out. That kind of got stuck in there. Like a whole performance troupe died in there, basically. And I kind of want to just clean them out. But in order to clean them out, we need to drain the thing first. Also, all of those bodies up there, like, it's kind of dark. I'm not sure why they all decided to drown in there, but they did. Does that clean out the dead bodies? No. Which is why I'm draining it entirely, to clean out the dead bodies. Got some levers to pull first, though. All right, can we unsuspend that construction? Well, you guys continue to dig that out. Yeah, there's a lot of dark comedy stuff in Dwarf Fortress. That becomes more and more obvious the more of it you play. I really hope somebody pulls that lever in a minute. The Rosy Guild now has many members in Hotbeards and requires a guild hall. They need a farmer guild. I think that the farmer guild should go down here. I'm going to kind of do this. This is going to be a weird layout initially, but it's going to make sense, I swear. So this is going to be my farmer's guild. And it's going to have fortifications where they can peek in on all of the animals. We're going to also go up this side here. Give them a little peeky window into there, too. so they can watch all of our animals. Hopefully they like giant jumping spiders. But yeah, this is still draining. It's going to take a little bit because we're draining out all of this water too. That's a lot of water that needs to be drained out. And then Asto Putiamin says, on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my greetings to your people. There is much to discuss. Sure. I fucked that up because I did it too quickly. That's fine, though. And then, well, then we have finalized the export agreement. Feel free to go over the documents. I'll just say that the dwarves are very busy right now and didn't have time to file the correct paperwork. Again, on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me bid farewell to you and your stout dwarves. Till next year. Noble human. We have all the cruddy clothing up there. We've got so much of it. Shoutouts to this child who is Minkot, who is the daughter of Max the Infant and Lear, who is standing on top of this clother who is sleeping and is playing make-believe on a pile of blood. Goblin blood. So that's happening. I've seen a lot of dwarves with crappy mittens. Let's make a bunch of mittens. That kid is going places. I mean, it's just like when you see like a kid playing make-believe and they're like on top of a pile of like 50 bodies. I've definitely seen that before. It's just like you're playing make... Actually, one of the saddest things ever was I had a baby who was crying because they were covered in tears and they were standing on top of both of their parents' dead bodies after we lost... Well, I say lost, but won a battle against a goblin siege. And... the child was literally standing on top of both of their dead parents after a really crappy siege fight. After being carried into battle by mom and dad. So was carried into battle as mom and dad, became child halfway through fight, and then proceeded to just play make-believe on top of mom and dad's dead bodies after claiming and equipping most of mom and dad's dead clothing, which is really, really fucking sad! It's just like, my parents both died. I'm going to put on their clothes and play make-believe. It's like, oh no. That's not too uncommon a sight in Dwarford either. So what you're saying is when life gives you lemons, make a pickaxe? Pink? Whatever happened to him? That dwarf? I don't know. That fort didn't last too much longer. Just like your name, Unrecovered, that child will never recover. Dwarven Batman was created. Well, you see, Dwarf Fortress has Batmen already, which shouldn't be confused with the Batman. And Batmen would be very offended to hear you say something like that about their kind. Even though they only communicate with shrieking sounds. The Bat Dwarf. Just so that we're all clear here. Everybody knows what I'm referencing, right? Oh, the graphics in Dwarf Fortress are beautiful. What are you talking about, Unrecovered? They have their own weird quirk. And underneath the interesting username is somebody who's having a very hard time typing today, apparently. I've been there, though. Don't feel bad. Definitely been there. Cannot hit the keyboard. I mean, you can, just not the right spots. Apparently. But no, over on the Dwarf Fortress wiki, the Batman page is one of my favorites, just because of some things you should know about dealing with Batman. They show a preference to working individually, paired up with different birdmen of some type, or with Nightwings. They are most likely to target a dwarf whose comedian attribute is at the highest level. They are exceptional detectives, and given enough preparation time, they can defeat any foe. Their default identities are a secret. If you turn this off, their chasm will flood your fortress with nobles instead. They can breathe in space. They are vengeance, they are the night. Their parents are dead, and Batmen do not eat nachos. They prefer hot dogs instead. It's my favorite page of the Dwarf Fortress wiki. My favorite part of that entire wiki. Especially the comedian trait bit. Hope you named the child dwarf Bruce. I think I was more just disturbed at the time. I didn't think of it, I'll be honest. Mark. We've never even seen Batman in DF? I have seen Batman. You want to know what's the rarest thing I've seen in Dwarf Fortress? Actually, some of you might know this, so if you do know, don't guess. What do you think is the rarest thing I've ever seen in Dwarf Fort? Demon? No, demons are very common. Super easy to find. Just gotta dig down. I could find demons in about 2 minutes if you wanted. I know exactly where they are. Those aren't rare at all. I saw a werewolf. Adamantine deposit is pretty rare. Every map has adamantine deposits. Adamantine, right here. There's about two to four adamantine spires on every map. Yeah. Where is the other one? No, there's the other one. Just a normal werewolf. So you know how were creatures in Dwarf Fortress can be any animal, right? You're last for were tortoise? Interesting. I see a lot of were giraffes these days for some reason. But before that were were anteater. I've had were cougars, which is funny as hell. Yeah, no, it can be any non-domesticated animal. Unless you fuck with your map generation odds, it is guaranteed. I've literally never had a map without adamantine. But yeah, anyway, because were creatures can be any type of animal that could possibly spawn in the world, but just the twisted into humanoid form kind. Because it can be literally anything. The odds that you actually get a were creature that is a werewolf is exceptionally rare. To the point where, like, I didn't actually know that you could get werewolves. And I saw a werewolf and me and chat just sat here and freaked out for, like, 10 minutes. Werecarp? That's a fish. I don't think you can get werefish. Maybe more like an, oh god, why carp? Less of a werecarp. No, because they're sentient. Intelligent creatures cannot have were versions. Just like you can't have a were dog because they're domesticated. Captured it and exposed it in a zoo. I can't remember exactly what happened to it, but I know it just kind of, like, we were not in a very friendly biome and it just kind of ran in and died. So, if I had the option, I would have tried, but a wanity, a were wanity, and that would be funny. You can't have aquatic creatures as were variations, to my knowledge. No, because demons are intelligent. You can't have intelligent creatures as a were creature. And you also can't have vermin, so you couldn't have, like, a were-wambler. You can't have a rabbit because rabbits are domesticated. You could have a lion. You could have a cougar. You could have... Are hares domesticated? I don't know. I've never seen a werehare. Yeah, land-based, non-domesticated, non-intelligent animals. I know it's a very specific list, but... I want to say I've had weresloths. Although nothing will ever top the classic were-ass. Which, of course, is a fucking donkey. Although, unfortunately, there was a Q&A that Tarn did recently, a Future of the Fortress Q&A that Tarn did recently, where he said that they are considering changing the name of the were-ass to just a were-donkey because they fear it might confuse people. And also, it's a little bit too potty humor for them. You love sloths? A lot of people love sloths for some reason. They're really stupid animals, though. I like sloths in theory, but they're kind of like dolphins, where it's like, I like them in theory, but in practice, they're just kind of assholes. So where is the were-ass? Right behind you. Stand up, stick your head between your knees, and breathe deeply. Then you found it. Also, you do have a point, dude. Although I'll say a were-mammoth. Scariest were creature. Also, there are no mammoths in the game. So, just were-mammoths. Go figure. You just trade for all these bars. Okay, well. So you had 3 to 4 fairly skilled dwarf hunters and trained dogs, and they had wooden crossbows with wooden bolts, and they decide to hunt a yak. Well, you don't actually remember if it was a yak, but it was some large bovine. So about 100 spent bolts and 3 hunting dogs, and a yak crawling on its broken limbs. That leaves your map. There was, so I had a map once that had giant tortoises. Fun fact, giant tortoises have such a high armor score, they might as well be wearing like 20 shields. I had a dwarf die from exhaustion trying to kill it. Because eventually, like, I got kind of frustrated, and I just kind of, like, told my army to attack it. They attacked it. Probably about a year went by, and they were still fighting it. So that happened. Also, that yak was a fucking trooper. I just gotta say that. They have those in my local shop, I think. Speaking of, I'm going to claim all of this clothing because all those bodies have already been removed, I think. How deep is this? Okay, well, this is still draining. We'll just let this finish draining. I can fill the thing pretty fast. Sea sponge? Oh, giant sponges? Yeah, there is a bunch of giant sponges on this map. They're kind of terrifying. I'll be honest. Kind of terrifying. Any particular reason we're not brewing drinks? Dwarves? But why do you want to get one specifically? Ooh. One of my engravers has been taken by a Fey mood. Where'd you go? I lost you. There you are. But yeah, sea sponges, if you just remove them, or giant sponges rather, if you just remove them from the water, they die really quickly. So they're actually pretty easy to deal with. You just have to remove them from water. Man, disappointed. Craft Dwarf shop. Was hoping you would claim the forge is just up there. Was hoping. Not so lucky. Some more migrants have arrived. See 2 craft dwarves right away. You're a competent mechanic. Could use a competent mechanic. The crafting a masterwork, Droom's creating a great work of art and is ambitious. Good luck, you 3. And a legendary musician, eh? 132 years old. Go join the military, but you're kind of sus. Siege engineer? You can stay as that. I think I just removed somebody from the squad, but kind of watching as they show up. We're up to 138 dwarves. Did they ever erupt? No. So there is a way of making pseudo cheaty eruptions if you want to know a kind of workaround to make that happen, because I love volcanic eruptions. One of my favorite things to do actually is just like watch volcano live streams on YouTube. So I'm a big fan of watching volcanoes erupt. So there is a way to make volcanoes erupt, but they will not erupt on their own. But the way to make them erupt or to shift the lava layers, the best way to do it is to embark 7 dwarves on the mountain, immediately retire the fortress, and then re-embark. Because when you re-embark, the game changes the level that the lava is at, and regenerates it anew. So the benefit of this is the lava will either be higher or lower. So you'll either suddenly have a super active volcano, or you'll have a much cooler looking volcano. This isn't even pressuring lava. That's just like abandoning and re-embarking on the same spot. Gives you a pretty good lava eruption. That's my favorite way of making volcanoes erupt. That or just like dig one layer off. Pressurizing lava is weirdly complicated, but can be used to fire massive pistons of lava into the sky. I need to make another lava piston fort. It's been too long since I've done stupid shenanigans like that. All right, while they work on that, let's jump up here. When you can drown the whole map in it. That's usually my theory. I mean, water cannons are more fun in my opinion. Actually, let's just do this. Bum, ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, bum. You had a map where the dwarves turtled and you pumped lava out all around the base. And things that came onto the map immediately burned. That's very dwarfy. I once drained an ocean to build a tower in the middle of it. And then had a trap which involved pulling a lever and draining the ocean into a room. So it's like, imagine fighting an ocean. Vulture leather, zinc bars. Really? You took zinc? We have fucking adamantine and you took zinc? Vulture mangled bone. 2 silver bars, rhinoceros leather, and diorite. Well, best of luck, dwarf. Make something cool. But why did you use zinc? Of all the materials you could have used, why zinc? The game just like stops moving for about 15 seconds. And then after that, it like lurches back into playability. It's kind of funny when it does that though, because it's like, it just like screams to a halt and then just plays again. So are you going to play on my server this evening then, Mark? Yeah. I actually think, like, this is a really weird thing to say to somebody who hasn't played Dwarf Fortress Uncovered, but I really like it. I love the fact that water is a more dangerous substance than lava. It's like, lava, pretty dangerous. Water, infinitely more dangerous. You're going to die quickly and nobody will care. Yeah. I keep forgetting that game has a tutorial. Just remember, in that game you can dual wield frying pans and have a third frying pan on your back as armor. Just remember that. That's all that you need to know about Project Zomboid. You can have 2. I just wish that you could put a pot on your head as a hat. If only you could put a pot on your head as like a low quality helmet and equip a frying pan as armor and dual wield frying pans all at the same time. If only you could do that, it would be a perfect game. Unfortunately, it's just a fantastic game. Even if the combat sucks right now. Round lime would support. There we go. I don't know if there's a bucket helmet, to be honest. You've restarted your Project Zomboid game every day since Friday to make it about a month before you die, typically due to being dumb or your cat bumping your mouse hand. Blame the cat. Classic. Rakus, the dwarf, Pigfinite! The engraver has created Tetithurbi Nekatotur, a diorite figurine of Imaz the Defensive, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Cybric Webdoiled. Cybric Webdoiled must be somebody famous because people keep dedicating artifacts to him. Imaz the Defensive, I think that's his god. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is a masterfully designed image of Imaz the Defensive, the deity of laws, depicted as a female dwarf, and a dwarf in diorite. Rakist by Rakist, Pigfinite. The dwarf is praying. Imaz the Defensive is contemplating. It is encrusted with cushioned slate cabochons and decorated with bands of cushioned diorite cabochons and vulture bone. This object menaces with spikes of silver. On the item is an image of dwarves in rhinoceros leather. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of hot beards by the sweltering sand of the Crimson Pulley in the early spring of 155. On the item is an image of an long eight-sided prism in silver. Yeah, the dwarf, Bigfinite. It's one of the people who hangs around this stream. We're going to need to make a couple lead pedestals, I think. Maybe 10. One for that one. Pigfinite's, you're going to be your new prog metal band? Do it. Speaking of good metal, I was blasting some Sergeant Thunderhoof last night on the topic of good band names. Fucking phenomenal band. Made a legendary floodgate. I once had a almost entirely pure adamantine giant corkscrew. At least I got a legendary metalsmith out of it. But still, I was like, really? Of all the things, it was like, it's my most valuable artifact I think I've ever constructed. It was like millions of dwarf bucks in value. It's just like, really? You made a fucking corkscrew? Why? That's literally like the dwarf's equivalent to... Also, so here's a problem with a lot of house plans for me, Pink. Also, you'd love my neighbor. Number one, that's hilarious. But number two, I hate humid. I can't stand it. I can't stand humid like temperatures. It's just blah, blah, blah. It's unpleasant. Also, I did a stupid last night while I was really baked. I tried to get Reddit to name my bong, and they're still trying. I've gotten a few good responses on it. Someone said the Dark Tower, which I like, and then someone else said the Dank Tower, which I also really like. A lot of people seem to think it looks like an elephant trunk. A lot of good name ideas on here. A lot of people keep saying stalagmite, which is also really good. I don't know. I'm always impressed by how active the trees subreddit is, though. It's a ridiculously, manically active subreddit. You think Roper? Roper? I really like the Dank Tower. That's just funny to me. To the person who commented it. They keep forbidding those. Probably because there's dwarves standing on them. Why are my Hammerlords fighting? Oh, it's because a vulture decided to get too close. The Hammerlord punches the vulture in the right wing. Hammerlord punches the vulture in the head, injured with his right hand, and the injured part collapses into a lump of gore. I think that vulture is dead. Christopher. Oy vey. I'm also terrible at naming shit, so. Like the D&D stalagmite creature? I don't know. I'm not well versed in D&D lore in the slightest. Cool. We're brewing drinks again. What am I building? I'm redirecting a river. But I need to cave some stuff in to do that. I mean, maybe Eldragon. Also, how you been, Eldragon? It's been a bit. Hope you've been alright. That's disturbing looking. No offense, but like, I like smoking weed and all. But my brain don't look like that. After I'm high. I do like that you're not allowed to post on /r/trees unless your account is more than 3 days old and has positive karma, which is something that amuses me. I don't know why that amuses me, but it just does. Any subreddits that have very specific posting rules like that just amuse me. It's like, oh yeah, my Reddit account's like a decade old and has thousands and thousands and thousands of karma. Eleanor? Why Eleanor? My, like, senior citizen neighbor growing up was named Eleanor. I see many things in my bong, but the old lady that used to live next door is not one of those. Got Reddit, you were like, is karma a bad thing? Maybe. Having too much karma can be really fucking annoying, I'll tell you that. I have gotten like a half dozen DMs from people today, though, asking me where I bought it. Which is funny, because somebody asked me in the comments where I bought it, and I linked where I bought it. But they don't sell bongs anymore. I have no idea, Darren. Only bot I'm really familiar with is Cleverbot. But yeah, no, I'm building a collapsible structure that when collapsed will take out a good chunk of floor down at the bottom. Oh no, one of my hammer dwarfs is now depressed. Why that? I guess we'll remove you from the squad. You are content after eating a fine dish. What do you want to do? Friends? Family? You want to pray? Let's make you into a performer at the tavern. Good luck, Dwarf. Or no, not the tavern. The temple. That's the word I was looking for. Looks like an Eleanor to her. Fair enough. I think probably my favorite suggestion is Moai, which I think I'm pronouncing incorrectly. Which is this, and they just linked to the Wikipedia page because it does check out. That's my favorite suggestion I've seen. I'm just imagining now somebody skipping through the VOD of this video and they just land on me naming my bong. The problem is like, I have to think like, what's something that I'll remember while I'm baked? I don't know if I'll remember Moai while I'm baked. But then again, it's okay. I don't ever have friends over, so it's not like someone's ever going to be like, yo, what do you call your bong? Because that's not a conversation I really have with people. So I don't really need to worry about that being an issue. Oh, shit. The Forgotten Beast! Sees where his swuggle has come. A great skinless petrosaur. It has a knobby shell and it undulates rhythmically. Beware with poisonous bite. What layer is this? Alright. It has wings because it's a petrosaur. What am I waiting for, animal? Alright, let's let it fly up. Yeah, well, I need to, like, punch through a wall to actually let it in. Because I'm pretty quick about sealing off cavern layers. I don't think it's on this layer. It's on... Actually, it might just be going to go fight with the other flying one that was down there. Also, we don't pay them. Come on. This is Dwarf Fortress. Nobody gets paid. Don't be silly. Let's just dig out a little arena right there. That'll do. Bong awareness? You know, maybe the other one that I have. Not that one. I'm too attached to that one. That's my nice one. Maybe if I ever buy a joke bong. Like, I would name a bong awareness if it was one of those dildo bongs that had a dildo attached to it. That's the only time I would name a bong awareness. They still haven't returned the economy? No, and there's no plans to. Also, the economy was removed like 7 years ago. You know that, right? No, dwarves are anarcho-communist. This is a pretty well-known fact. You haven't played it for a while? Is that what you mean? Not you played it for a while? Okay, so here come the military dwarves. The other dwarves are mining out the little combat arena that we're making. Take out the last piece. Nail sawed off. Where's our flying twit? Eh, you're fine. That just sounds like Bunger, the burger character from that one video game. Let's see it. Here come all the hammer dwarves. It's got a straight line in. Good old Bug Snacks. Yeah, Bug Snacks. From the creators of Octodad. You can fly. I saw you. Unless I'm on the wrong layer. It spawned in here. Yeah, no, this is the right layer. Why do you have a caged guest? Why don't you? Caged guests are uninvited guests that are caged. So we have a giant that showed up that got caught in a cage trap. So instead of being an uninvited guest, it's a caged guest. Naturally. You should see Long Death, where we have like 50. Not 50, but there's at least like a dozen plus. Just like random forgotten beasts and giants and ettins and minotaurs. And cyclopses just hanging out in cages. They never die and they don't need to eat. So they just live there. Although the Ettins aren't caged in Long Death. They're just really lonely. All right, well, let's do this. We're going to seal this off. And instead dig all the way over to here. Have a peek over on this end. This looks so ugly. Theoretically, you could force... Theoretically, you could... If you had a giant and a giantess that got along and you put them into the same room, you could make them make baby giants. Theoretically, but I've never actually seen anybody pull that off. According to the Raws, it's possible, but I've never actually seen it work. You can't crossbreed anything with anything in Dwarf Horde. Still looking for that beast. Also, you need to realize that a giant is like the size of 2 semi-trucks standing on end, and a dwarf is like 3 feet tall. So I'm not sure how that would happen. I think the dwarf would probably suffocate. Well, that would be experiments, which is very different. Something tall woman fetish? The sheer mechanics of it are mind-boggling. Scientists will never figure out how it's possible for the male to be so much smaller than the female. It's beyond impractical. But ancient alien theorists believe that the answer is yes. God, I hated that show so fucking much. You know what's sad is, like, I haven't seen much of The Simpsons. I enjoy The Simpsons. I've seen all of Futurama, including like the point where they brought it back, and I enjoyed it. It was a good show. Holy fuck, Disenchanted made me mad. Like, not even like entertained mad, just mad. I don't know why, but my God, there was something about that show. I fucking hated that show so much. I have like this like personal rule, and it mostly applies to cartoons. And it's if I want to punch most of the main characters, I don't like the show very much. Sometimes it applies to like live action shows like Umbrella Academy. I just wanted to kill every single character in that show. Like fuck everybody in that show. The worst people. The most annoying people on planet Earth are the characters of that show. There's an octopus whose females are 40,000 times bigger than males. That's wild. Everyone expected second Futurama, but then the Fire Nation attacked. Octopus is not dwarf. This is true. This is like when we were looking up the odds that a dwarf has triplets or quadruplets or twins in Dwarf Fortress is 1 in 250, which is the odds of a dwarf getting, 1 in 500, which is the odds of a dwarf getting a triplets or quadruplets or whatever, more than one baby at a time. And then when I had Tarn on the stream, he looked it up and he was just like, well, so in humans, it's about 1 in 250 on Earth. Which is fine because the dwarves are not humans, so that means I was right anyways. But then he's like, but also humans in Dwarf Fortress have the same odds of having twins or triplets as dwarves, meaning I was still wrong. It's like, right, but also wrong, but also right. That is a tiny fucking octopus. Wow. You know, I feel like okay, where is this fucking forgotten beast? Do I not see you yet? Fucking vanish off in the... As I know it went up this way. But anyway, brings new meaning to the short guy crew. Seriously though, where the fuck is this stupid thing? Maybe it just like went off the map and died. Is there like a missing marker on it? One of my dwarves is missing. I'm convinced one of my dwarves somehow fell off the bridge. Yeah, it's not dead. Also can't see it. All right, well, you know what? We'll just pretend that it's not there, and we'll deal with it later. Because I'm still working on this over here. I just kind of want to get it done. Also, have you had that connected? No, you have not. Why have you not been connected? What the hell? Why'd you get... Why are so many random-ass jobs up here getting suspended all the time? What's going on? This is annoying. Not a fan. What are you hauling? Also, why are you, of all of the places, Kivish, that you could be playing make-believe, why are you doing that right there? All right, well, anyway, I'm going to have to lock them inside soon anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, there goes another giant skink. They're pretty speedy little critters. Gotta give them credit. All right, while they're working on that down there, we fly down here. Oh, don't have enough mechanisms. Let's make 10 more lead mechanisms. Actually, you know what? 2 more. More will be fine. Because we're going to connect one to here, one to here. And then we'll be able to drain water off of this map. Hopefully. Assuming this works. It should work. I don't know why it wouldn't. I'd be really confused if it didn't. I've done stuff like this before and it's worked, so. You know, I think today maybe takes the key for some of the weirdest conversations we've had on stream all week, so. Maybe it's because I had to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning for a meeting today. Woke up at 6 a.m. to have a meeting with my stream team. Had the meeting. Then after the meeting was over, I went back to bed for an hour and a half. And then I started almost like 10 minutes late because of it. Uh-oh. We've got a ghostly mace lord who is causing a dwarf to throw a tantrum, which is actually really dangerous. We should fix that. Remember how earlier I was like, man, one of my dwarves vanished. No idea where he went. Anyway, that dwarf that vanished, we need to engrave him a slab, like stat. This fort looks way nicer now that I've smoothed all the floors. They're doing an animal dissecting demonstration. How lovely. There we go. Got a memorial getting engraved. Doesn't look like anybody's getting fought with. You know, I've tried to clear these trees to make my my trading depot accessible to wagons a couple of times, but I may just have to give up. It's so impractical. There we go. Still have no idea what happened to that fucking dwarf. Alright, so I need that to be done before... I need all that stuff to be connected before I can start the draining. In fact, we're going to need to do some safety procedures first, most likely. Also, just as kind of a reminder, tease, we've had Tarn Adams on the stream 6 times over the past 2 years. He's going to be joining me sometime in the next 2 weeks. As far as specific day, we don't know, but we know that it'll either be the 24th or the 3rd. So it's probably most likely going to be the 3rd. Otherwise, he would have sent me an email at this point. But he's going to be joining me sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks on a Thursday. Also, I'm starting to think YouTube is deleting bots because I'm losing like 5 YouTube subs an hour right now. Or like inactive accounts. That or people are real annoyed with me uploading things that aren't Dwarf Fortress to YouTube. Either way. Yeah, so it would either be this Thursday or the Thursday after. Sweet, tell him you said hey. I mean, you can tell him yourself in Twitch chat. So yeah, if you wanted to, theoretically, you could literally tell him you said hey. Because that's kind of the beauty of having somebody on a Twitch stream, is you can literally just tell him yourself. Let's then priority on that. Too low. Let's do the solve priority number 1. Just get this done. This is the most important thing that needs to be smoothed. There they go. Perfect. You don't know why you didn't think of that? I mean, so usually what I do is I put up a YouTube video announcing the date of it. And I also have, I usually have a, which I will for this one too, have a Google form where you can submit questions to them. I haven't actually made the form yet, but so then we'll take a round of user questions, and so the first bit will just be me and him talking. Then we'll take a round of user questions after that. They usually go for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. The longest one we did was close to 2 hours, but it's just because for me the reason I do them is because DF Talk doesn't happen anymore, really. I mean, it kind of does, but kind of not really. DF Talk has been mostly MIA since like 2015. They did an episode or 2 in the last few years, but that's about it, just to kind of talk about the premium version. But like aside from that, DF Talk has largely been a thing of the past, and I miss it. So this is kind of turned into my replacement for it. You went down the rabbit hole in /art trees and someone linked this, okay, before I click on it. And now I'm seeing where it's in stock just for decorative purposes and you don't do drugs. I mean, bongs are pretty. Also, that's a nice pipe, shit. Like, just the artistry of them is quite nice. Like, you don't have to, you know, do drugs to want a really nice pipe. Man, I want one of these. Why did you fucking link this, animal? Damn you, man. It doesn't help that they're also just a really easy thing to collect. You would use it to store drinks in? I wouldn't put drinks in a pipe. It's just me. It's like all of those people that used to just like I've definitely seen my fair share of pipes like that with flowers in them. It really is pretty. Like you know, if they wanted to sponsor me, just saying, I'm easy. Ironically, it's like I don't take sponsorships, but like if somebody who made bongs wanted to sponsor me, I wouldn't say no. Well, it already has hemp. There's a couple of mods that let the dwarves smoke. It's funny, whenever the subject of dwarves smoking comes up, there's like a very loud contingent of people that think, yes, dwarves should be able to smoke, but also it should be like a give and take thing where a percentage of dwarves are just like, no, smoking is bad. And then they get really mad when other dwarves smoke around them. And I'm one of those people who's like, you can't tell me what is and isn't dwarfy because my dwarves are not your dwarves and you can't tell my dwarves what to do. I'm very much that kind of person. And so I get real annoyed when people tell me what is and isn't dwarfy, but I'm sorry, smoking is the most fucking dwarfy thing on earth. This is my platform and this is where I choose to die. But no, like, we could have like 50 different things for them to smoke. You know, like even like if you ever read The Hobbit, it's all of those dwarves are constantly like talking about their pipes and smoking pipes and getting sad when they run out of smokeweed. Come on. It's like the humans could smoke ratweed in Dwarf Fortress and then everybody else could smoke like hemp, or we could just have tobacco in the game. Problem solved. I mean, everybody is already functioning alcoholics. Why can't we be functioning smoking alcoholics? I know that, like, Tarn doesn't want to add guns to the game because he himself doesn't like guns, and I, as a Canadian who doesn't like guns, I completely respect that. But, like, And I also, like, respect not adding things to a game that you don't like, but, like, come on. I also, like, I vape a lot of weed, a lot of dry herb, and I don't really like smoking. Token smoked more than just cigarettes. And he probably, you know, Token probably smoked cigars. Token seems like a cigar smoking motherfucker. Oh shit, we got 1 point of disorderly conduct. Let's cave your head in. 29 days in prison. I never did finish setting up those new prison cells, did I? Probably do that. Kinda got distracted with this. What? The hell? How did water get there? I have no clue, but somehow water ended up here. Oh, this is an aquifer, apparently. Huh, I was wondering why there was mud showing up here. It's because this is an aquifer up here. That's funny. Anyway, should I start this filling up again? Yeah, it looks like all the corpses are out of here. Yeah, no, see, here's the thing. A lot of drugs didn't really get pushed out of normal use until the last 150 years. And even then, even things like weed didn't start to be frowned upon until post-World War II. Like, we didn't live in a world where people got mad at people for smoking weed for a very, very, very long time. Also, all of the dwarves with little red flashing X's have a fever, because there's creatures in the basement that give the dwarves a fever. Which is kind of annoying. Okay, one more that needs to be hooked up, I think. Anybody pulled that lever yet? It'll take you a while. And this miner finally lost it. That's sad. You know what? We don't need to. With all of this, it's kind of pointless. Waste of time. Let's just finish this up. Oh, hey, I'm your liaison from Mountain Homes. Sure. I don't know. Bring us pigtail cloth. No, it's not deadly. It's just annoying. It gives them a debuff. It's just kind of a pain. Cyberx says, I'd look forward to our meeting next year. Our fortunes rise and fall together. The fever that a bunch of dwarves got from the Forgotten Beast was a problem and did kill dwarves. This doesn't. This is just click cave blob fever, which I learned about because of this fort. Thousands of hours in this game. I had no idea that cave blobs gave you a fever. But more you know, I suppose. Debuff is Diva? I mean, closed captions is literally just Google voice to text displayed on the stream. So if it's slightly inaccurate, the next time you try talking to Google Home and it doesn't understand you, that's why. It's because it's about as good as it's gonna be. It could be better. It's not ideal, but hey, you know, it's better to have it than to not. And when it's inaccurate, it's hilarious, so that's a benefit to everybody, right? Oh, man. The cook finally got too depressed to continue living. Speaking of, get rid of that vengeful ghost. It's fine. There's more cooks where that came from. We have enough dwarves in this fort that I don't really need to worry too much about every individual dwarf. It's going well. 11. I think that's how you say that? 11? I think it's just 11, right? But hi, what's up? We're about to, fireworks is the wrong word. We're about to make something go, crunch, smash, kaboom. Anybody want to pull the lever? Yay, the ghostly Mace Lord has been put to rest. I still don't know what killed him. No idea. I swear he's probably in the river somewhere. Just make sure there's no dwarves in this. No dwarves. Alright, last gunslinger, our legendary weaponsmith, is coming to pull the lever! Dwarf! Pull the lever! Wrong lever! Every fort needs a dwarf named Kronk that is the designated lever puller, but unfortunately it's too impractical for me to actually do that. Forgotten beasts? Oh, plenty. Plenty. Plenty of beasts, plenty of raids. There was one that just spawned that then flew off the map, and I don't know where it went, so I was too lazy to find it, so we'll find it later. I also am trying to breed giant jumping spiders, and I'm breeding giant skinks. And apparently puppies. We're hanging out with them. Let's let those puppies out of there. I don't know how those puppies got stuck in there. You okay? Underneath you. This one just keeps jumping. Oh, I know what... Actually, no, I don't know what the problem is. Weird. Anyway, gotta give them that burrow too, just in case. Giant puppies? No, no giant puppies. Just giant jumping spiders and giant skinks. Anyway, so that's done. Now I just need to finish the top half. And then we can let the fun commence. Top half is done. All right, let's pull the lever and see if it works. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I think it's gonna work. This is like a 50-50 chance it'll work, I'd say. But in order to make it work, we have to remove this first. Giant jumping puppies? That's just normal puppies. Article and arc on whether Token smoked weed. Not sure. Is the conclusion in the stories he made. It's unclear if the stuff he smoked is weed. I like that. If the stuff he smoked is weed. But in conclusion, don't ring, guys. It'll ruin your life. Don't ring? What I will say is most of the most creative minds in our history that we think back on, everybody from Edgar Allan Poe to Tolkien to fucking C.S. Lewis, we're smoking something. Something. Fuck knows what, but something. They were definitely smoking something. Not all of them. Uh-huh. Some were sniffing. Smoking, sniffing, snorting. I mean, like, even paint, like, lead paint is very common. And like, there's so many tales of, like, painters going insane because they were painting with lead paints. Or, it's mercury in the process of making hats. And then hat makers going insane, which is where the whole concept of the Mad Hatter. You see, as somebody who was raised very religious, Renfield, C.S. Lewis probably wasn't smoking. But he certainly drank probably a lot of wine. Guarantee. Dr. Seuss is a weird one. Radium in cosmetics. Oh yeah, don't forget about that. All right, so we're gonna cave this in now. Wish us luck. All right, so this caves in all the way down here. And hopefully, hey, it worked. Bonk. Boosh. So now, there's this big old trench in the middle of this river. It fills up this area. So, flawless execution. So now, how deep is this? Still pretty deep. Right? So now the final thing that we got to do. You didn't die in there, did you? No, you're fighting with the vulture. That's fine. Now that we've done that, what is that? That is what? So what I did was, there's a big river in the bottom of this trench, right? I just made a support, which was attached to a lever, which had a floor on top of it, that went across the river with wooden walls on either side, right? The lever just caved in the support, which caused the two walls and the floor in the middle to cave in. Two walls and the floor in the middle fell all the way down here and punched through a 1Z level thick piece of flooring right here into here, so that now I can go down here and pull this light lever and hopefully is the keyword there, redirect enough of the river so that we can go down there, collect bodies, and construct stuff in it. He won the $5 bet. I've read a lot of weird things about Dr. Seuss. He seems like a interesting fellow. Also, did someone just tantrum? Ah, Zulban is throwing a tantrum. Well, that's lovely. Zulban the Bard is tantruming. I made you into a bard because that was the only thing that you liked in life was music. And now there's a corpse in the living room. That's suboptimal. At least everybody gets to report crimes. Meanwhile, the bard's gonna go start another fist fight, so... Ooh. Who are you beating up now? Somebody else who's not named? That's not good. Please don't kill him. I already killed one. Yep, that's two. Double kill. Not saying we need to drown this dwarf, chat. But that's an unacceptable amount of murder. And that's a lot of crimes getting reported. That is a lot of dwarves that just died. Also, you're going to go pull this lever. I just want to see if this works. And then, push. So now that happens. So ideally, this will drain a bit here. And you can already see the hole. All right, so let's just let that do its thing for a little bit. So, bunch of accounts of disorderly conduct against Zulban the Bard. That might be permanent expulsion, I'd say. What do you get, Zulban? 85 days in prison and a beating. You know what? Damn straight. That seems justified. Also, because I forgot to do this, let's just set these all as used by justice. This is mostly for my Captain of the Guard's sanity. Cool. They're placing some dwarves in tombs. Gotta turn off my camera for a second so that I can do this. Oh, wow. I still have that draining. I'm an idiot. Bum, 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 bum. Got a bunch of levers to pull that I just kind of forgot to pull because I wasn't really paying attention. Still just like pumping water nowhere. In this fort? None yet. But I know that there's necromancers in this world. This world is pretty big and pretty scattered, and I haven't intentionally gone after any. I'm one of those annoying people who knows enough about this game that I can pretty much make it do what I want it to do without it doing what it wants to do to me. Yeah, the vampires are still there. They live in prison. It's fine. See, is this draining? It's not quite draining quick enough. I might need to make this bigger or make a second one. Put one at the other end. Although, you see that giant sponge? This guy. It is draining enough that he's flickering. It's a good sign. Well, we'll just let it do its thing for a little bit. If it doesn't work, I might need to make it bigger. Which actually isn't that big of a deal. It just means that I need to add more cave-in bits to be able to cave in this part here, which I could actually do. To be able to cave in this part here and this part right here. Hey, they're watching an ambush demonstration. That's good. Let's see how Zulban likes his prison. Well, this is funny. Need to fill the reservoir up, and this is draining too quickly. So you know what we're actually going to do? We're going to pause this draining project for a second. I'm going to fill this river back up so I can pump some water up in here. Uh-oh, where are you? Oh, pfft. Welp. Then, careful. Wait, what? I'm an idiot. Let's lock the dwarves inside of this burrow for a sec, because I'm drowning dwarves, apparently. I just drowned friggin' Bob. Whoops. Pull that lever. Pull that lever. But yeah, the two vampires are right here. The problem with them is they both went insane before their time in prison was up, which basically means that they are incapable of doing anything. They are completely mindless and dead, basically. I'm a big dummy. I don't even know what just happened. Why did the camera jump me up here? Oh, some migrants have arrived, apparently. Weird timing, but okay. Let's turn on the other drain. As soon as the others died. Unrelated. No, it's just mid-autumn. This is just when they arrive, but there we go. Can now turn off the other dwarf jobs. All right, did they seal this off? Not yet. I'm sure they'll get to it. Because it turns out I have to wait for my reservoir to fill before I try and, like, dam off some water. So let's see how Zulban likes being in prison. Because one of a few things will happen. They'll either get worse or they'll get a lot better being in prison. Never know until you put them in prison and find out. Guilty. You're fucked. Have fun, dwarf. Because that's what? 84 days in prison? It's a pretty good amount of time. All right, so those bridges are now back up, meaning this will fill pretty fucking quick. But yeah, so I will say that this drain is working. It's not as efficient as I would like. I'd like it to be a little bit more efficient, so I'm gonna do a few things to increase its efficiency. But it's working, which is pretty good. We're going to work on that to increase its efficiency, to cave in more of it. So we'll be able to essentially dam off this river. I need to take a real quick toilet break. I will be right back. Maligned trails, the easy way. I'm sure there's an easy way to malign trails. Also, I took the opportunity to put on a hoodie because I'm cold. And now my water's pumping at full speed. Which is significantly faster for filling this. Because this is the priority, is getting this thing filled, because this is my defenses, so. Also, if I'm playing too fast, chat, and you guys can't follow, please let me know. I know that I've definitely, like, been informed in the past that I play too quickly, so. If I'm playing fast enough that you're having a hard time following, just let me know. Let's try this. Did I place that bridge in the right place is the question. Absolutely I did. Totally. Well, that's great. And, let's do a support right here. We're going to make a ramp up right here and a wall right here. And I'm going to chop down those trees in this vicinity. And then, yeah, I'm going to need to build over one. You really like seeing this trap system? Why? Because I spent way too many hours big braining it? You don't have the patience to set up something like this in your game? Really? I don't think it takes that long. Although for me, it's like, it doesn't take that long. It takes like 5 hours of preparation, which to me is like my work day, right? But I guess for a lot of people, it's like, I ain't gonna do that. Also, cheers, Metalhead. I see what you did. I don't know if you're lurking, but the $2 on Patreon monthly. Big thanks. One thing I will say, though, if you ever see Cupo live, K-E-U-P-O, definitely look at his traps, too. Because he makes, propulsion ramps and lava cannons. If you think that I take a long time to build fancy traps, you should see what Cupo makes. Because he puts my little projects to shame. Actually, I don't think that one on the end is going to work. It's basically where you make an infinite loop that it causes your minecarts to break the speed of sound. To me, it's a bit too cheesy. A bit too hard to believe that the dwarves would do something like that or have the technology to do something like that. Railgun carts? Yeah, literally railgun carts. Literally railgun carts. And then you fire lava out of them, and then you have walls of flying lava. So he'll, like, channel out something that looks like this with a platform in the middle and just have, like, what looks like a machine gun running out this side, just firing fully automatic, repeating lava cannons from the base of the world all the way up to the top, just going boom, 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 boom. So if you want to see like fully automatic minecart machine guns, watch his stream. It's hilarious, but kind of cheesy. Waiting for a dwarf to get knocked off the edge of this. Hasn't happened yet. I'm shocked. There you go. He doesn't stream very often, though. And when he does stream, he doesn't stream very long. Yep, most people do. Plus, he's probably got 10 times the number of hours in this game that I have. When I started streaming Dwarf Fortress, he was like the only person who was actively streaming. So. Or at least the only person who was actively streaming Dwarf Fortress. It was like him and like a 24/7 bot. You're going to bed, 1 a.m. here. You have a good night, Animal. Cheers. Oh, shit. It's tabbed out. One of my siege operators has been possessed. Now, what shop are you going to go for? That's curious. Of course, it's a craft store shop. How unoriginal. Best of luck, Stodir. Make us something cool. These are all of the... Man, so many fucking deaths in my water reservoir. This is why we're getting lag, is because of all the water that's filling this up. Or although part of the reason why we're getting lag currently. Could probably open this up. Yeah, we can open it up. Let's just open up the front door. For a second there, I thought I saw a dwarf in my drain. I was like, you fucking... you fucking moron. Good lord, where'd that come from? I've had like a lump in my throat all day. No, actually, I don't want you to be a rectangle. I want you to be a flow. Guild Hall, Wormer Hall, which I probably missed, but... Or no, it was the Planter Hall, I think. Yeah, the Rosy Guild. The Flowery Grove. What's the value of that? Almost nothing. Hopefully smoothing it'll help it out a bit. But yeah, no, this fortress is very elaborate. I have this goal with all of my fortresses, which is I just want them to look cool, because I have to stare at them all day while I stream, and you guys get to stare at them while I stream it. So it better just, like, be fun to look at, because if the fortress isn't fun to look at, I've already fucked up. That's always, like, one of my biggest goals when I'm building a fort, is just make something that's cool as hell to look at. As long as it's cool as hell to look at, like, we're doing okay at the very least. So I think that makes a degree of sense. Shift D, capital D. This is where caravans go. Capital D. Any green zones they can get from there to your wagon. You don't even know what you're looking at, Jeff Bezos. That's a funny name, by the way. Well, what's there to explain, really? Clearly, as you can see, I'm deconstructing a wooden structure above a big hole. Clearly. Obviously. Hey, at least I'm playing a game that has some visuals. I've played games with no visuals, so. You see what you're doing wrong? You mean everything? Dum ba da 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 dum dum. Yes, you need to place the depot before you can verify it. I can confirm that. Well, there's this game coming out called Monarch, spelled M-O-N-A-R-K. I can't read, like, I can't look at the title of this game without reading more narc. It's like, why are all of these kids narcs? They just look like animes to me. Why are they all narcs? Fucking narcs. Hey! Dwarf began a mysterious construction. What'd you grab? Stuff, and more stuff, including stray monitor lizard bone. Well, that's good. Actually, I wonder. Okay, I don't know why I put the puppies in here for one thing. Yeah, that seems like it was the issue. This one just seems to be having a spaz attack. I'm not totally sure what's up with you. You're a giant skink chain. You're on a chain. You're not. Okay, let's fix that. And then I want my giant jumping spider that is currently not assigned to here to be assigned to here. Then you go here. Let's see if they can move the giant jumping spiders there. Hey, that also fixed it. Sweet. You know, one thing that I've learned after being on the internet for a very long time is most things will just be fine. Most things will be fine. Except for our economy, that's fucked. But that's a different subject. Ever finished building that? Nope. It's like I do quite literally have a legendary carpenter, so maybe like go do carpentry stuff. Because I can't start deconstructing stuff until they are ready to go. We're going to cave this whole thing in, so gonna be a bunch of pieces that we're going to have to drop. We'll never understand why dwarves finish constructing something, rip off their clothing, and then walk away, which they often do, especially when they're going to go grab new clothing, but it's just like, this dwarf finishes building this piece of wall, takes his clothes off, and then leaves. It's like, what are you doing? Someone is stuck somewhere, I think. Seems legit. You say that like you've had practice doing the same thing. Let's pull this lever and then attach you to this. Well, the whole thing is now connected, which is good. Let's see if they fall. I'm gonna have to cancel this if they're gonna be standing in a spot where they can fall. Speaking of. Well, at least this is filling up still. Got a ways to go, but still filling. Problem is the dwarves do have to walk really far out of their way to actually do this right now. They have to walk so far away from the fort itself. It's like if we were to get sieged right now, this would be bad. So hopefully we don't get sieged, because that would be, as I said, real bad. For a lot of reasons. Mostly involving my dwarves' possible longevity. When the dwarves say something positive instead of just death all around us, like this one. I'm all right. That's like me. Just restless after being unable to practice a craft for too long, lonely after being away from family, lonely after being away from friends, restless after being able to practice martial art. Yeah, fuck that. I don't ever do that. And lonely after being unable to make romance. Man, I feel this dwarf on a spiritual level. By the way, since you want to practice martial art, go join the military. It won't help you with any of your other problems, but it will help your martial arts problems. So dear, the siege operator has created Ormistilaven, a monitor lizard bone crown, and claims it as a Hamley heirloom. Well, that's cool. It's worth 18,000 Zathal, and it's called the Wild Prairies. This is a monitor lizard bone crown. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of oval granite cabochons and olive wood. This object menaces with spikes of monitor lizard bone, vulture leather, and mudstone, and granite, and galena. On the item is an image of joined flash, the tea wood bed in coffee wood. You don't care, so don't ask. I sometimes want to respond with basically that to Twitch chat when they're like, how are you? It's like, I don't fucking know. Why are you asking me? As if I could give you a satisfying response. I love it when Dwarf Fortress kind of breaks the fourth wall, and it does that quite frequently. Stray giant skink has forgotten her training. Well, that's unfortunate. How am I feeling? Kind of like crap. My chest hurts. Chronic pain. I don't recommend it. It's gotten a lot better over the last 2 years, but it's still not optimal. The Planters Guild is now satisfied. Aside from the pain, mentally I'm doing all right today. Physically, I really would like to have more THC in my system so that I don't feel the pain. But aside from that, I'm all right. Could be better, could be worse. Because I don't get high while streaming. Just like, you know, I wouldn't get high when I worked at a more traditional job. After work, sure. At work, I like to be... Is this thing trying to kill itself? What's happening? Dude. Maybe it's following its owner. Do giant skinks have cat AI? Like, what's happening? This thing is literally following its trainer around. Huh. It's literally following its trainer around. That's funny. It just showed up and blocked where it was constructing. You know, I'm very open about my usage of THC and cannabis as a mental health and also like pain relief substance. I'm also a supporter of responsible drug use, and I don't consider being high at work responsible. But that's just my take. Even if your work is playing video games at home for a living. So, that's how I feel today. You happy now that you know, Mark? Zulban's been stricken by melancholy. Well, you did kill 2 of my dwarves. I hesitate to say that you deserve it, but you did kill 2 dwarves. Unfortunately. You were actually curious after I asked it? That's usually the state of me, though. I'm usually in some degree of pain, although it's generally tolerable now. When I first started dealing with it, it was so bad that most days, like, I was practically shaking. Like, there was a good long while there where it was unbearable, but it's now at tolerable levels, and there are painkillers and things I could take, but it's like a lot of them have enough weird side effects that it's like, you know what? What if I just don't take the weird painkillers? And that's kind of where I'm at this point. Like, how about I just cannabis in the off hours? Don't worry about it in the on hours. Just get by. I always feel bad when it's just like a dwarf really wants to practice a martial art, but they're also really close to snapping. It's like, I could probably fix you with this, or you're gonna tantrum and kill 5 dwarves. There's like no in between. No, Twitch doesn't have a rule about me smoking on stream. It's more just a personal thing. Primarily because, like, I'm a very quiet high person, and I lose focus on what I'm talking about really easily when I'm high. So if I were to stream stoned, it would be like those days when I'm really easily distracted, but like times 5. So I don't think it would make for a very entertaining stream in particular. Like, I know some channels that, like, that's their whole shtick, and, like, it works for a lot of people. I would be worried that it would just kind of make my show worse. Like, I've definitely streamed high before, but, like, I can't really read chat when I'm high, for example, and, like, I can't really process multiple things at a time, and I can't play the games that I normally play, so... Like, I streamed all of Inside the game high. Like, what, summer, late 2020, I think? It was, like, fall 2020 or something. I got really baked, and I was like, I want to stream Inside, so I streamed that whole game. I mean, DF is very high while hard. Yes. So I have done it before. I just choose not to generally. Because I do feel it impacts the quality of the stream. All right, so this is going to be the last chunk that we blow a hole in. That lower level. You're glad that I don't stream high? You hate that? You really do? You hate people who smoke weed, or you hate it when people stream high? I'm confused. And fumbled your hands a bit. I mean, sometimes you need to buy snacks, man. Well, good luck hating me, because I'm still staring at a Reddit thread that I'm watching of, Reddit naming my bong. I'm still getting like a name idea every 30 minutes or so. But regardless, you should be happy about one thing related to weed and Anglo-Saxon, which is I'd probably be dead if it wasn't. If it wasn't for cannabis, I would probably have killed myself a couple years ago. For a multitude of reasons. So I would argue that weed has saved my life on multiple occasions. Some games lend themselves more to it than highly technical games. Yeah. No. Games that require a lot of thinking. Not great when brain is fuzzy. Just like I'm better at certain types of games when I've had a little bit of alcohol in me. I guarantee you don't have 500 tickets to invest. But also investments are closed currently. So when they're open again, which will be in 45 minutes, you can type in that to see how many you have. Sure, but you did also state that you hate people who smoke weed. If it's after 7 o'clock and I'm not streaming, and I don't have anything to do that night, I am definitely high. If I'm out and about and going to a restaurant or something, I'm probably a little high. If it's after, like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on my day off, I'm definitely high. It's just how I function. People need to cut the stigma for substances that keep people alive. Yes, I did. Purely because I hate smoking, full stop. Purely because I have seen many times what it does to the lungs. Did you just, like, forget how to speak English halfway through that sentence? What just happened? How high do you call high? Depends on what I'm doing and what I have to do. Hey, figurine became a child. The child of the dwarf that made the really cool figurine. But how much do I use? Not much. I go through... I buy weed an ounce at a time, and it takes... Well, I bought weed in November, and I still have about half of what I bought. A little under half. So I'm about halfway through my current batch, and I bought weed in November. And I bought an ounce. No, it's like I spend maybe $100 on weed, or so I spend about $170 on weed every 6 months or so. But as far as how much I use, it's a combination of things. Vile Force of Darkness has arrived. Well, that's inconvenient. That is very inconvenient. All right, well, it's time to lock the dwarves inside. The truth of the matter is I'm always a little bit high, though. It's kind of impossible to be someone who uses cannabis almost every day and not always be a little bit high. Because the stuff doesn't leave your system in 24 hours. It's closer to 48. The trap even ready yet? Not quite, but almost. Yeah, it's at the top layer. Yeah, it's ready. Read your own sentence again, Anglo-Saxon. Yes, I did. You said, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Purely because I hate smoking, full stop. Purely because I have seen many times what it does to the lungs. What? Explain to me what that means. You're the one who said it. I'm just reading what you said. Come on, dwarves. Run, 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 run. Right side of Mike. Oh, shit. So check this out. That siege left. But you know who showed up halfway through the siege? Goblin Snatcher. Well, see, Mike sits on the right. That's why. He's on the right side of the table, I think. If I'm not mistaken. But thank you very much for keeping that sub alive for a second month. Welcome back, man. I think that you should be very careful with your use of the word hate, Anglo-Saxon. Because you did literally just say that you hate me. For doing something that literally keeps me mentally sound. That you have no choice or decision over. So just be careful with what you say. Anyway, what were you going for? Well, you've got no identifying markers on any of your clothing. It's not the first siege that's just immediately vanished. Still strange. For the lings? What exactly is a ling? Never heard of a ling before. I know what a lung is. Mm-hmm. Lings? Go on. Yes, you did say that you hated me. Let me reread what you said. Glad you don't stream high. I really hate that. I hate that. I really do. And then I said, do you hate people who smoke weed? Or people who are high in your presence? And you said both. And you said, don't get me wrong. Do what you want, but I prefer you sober so that you speak. And then you confirmed that you, because I asked, can you confirm whether or not you hate people who smoke weed? And you said, yes, I did. I did. Purely because I hate smoking full stop. Purely because I have seen many times what it does to the lungs, which is the most broken sentence I've read all day. And then I asked why you stopped speaking English halfway through that sentence. And you said, stop speaking English? Lol, okay. Anyone, which is one word, not two words, who inhales a toxin into their lungs is going to cause an issue. All right. Thanks for educating me because I'm already an adult and I can do what the fuck I want. That is not forgetting how to speak English. Yeah, it is because you broke your sentence many times and then you proceed to have another broken sentence. Yes, I often have THC in my system. I use a dry herb vape, which is the equivalent of literally sticking your nose into an oven and inhaling cake fumes. Right? I run it through water. It's about as clean as you can fucking get. I use that about 60% of the time. The rest of the time, I'm using my own homemade cannabis-infused olive oil in my cooking. So you literally did state and confirm that you hate me and also the fact that I have a habit that has literally kept me alive for the past few years. You're gone bed? Man, all of chat forgot how to speak. What's going on? I just wanted to confirm. But, we all good. Like, you have your takes and opinions, Anglo, but just realize don't hate people because they choose to have habits that keep them alive. And also, you haven't lived until you've had some THC olive oil. Cool. Welcome back, amateur. CBD is wonderful. English do be hard, though. English is fucking difficult, man. How did they kill the giant skink? Man. Wild again. That's a bummer. Hey, man, as somebody who's spoke English all of his life, English is really hard. But I will not stop giving people a hard time when they're giving me a hard time and they're incapable of spelling words correctly. Is this good to go? Not quite. Well, no, I asked you to confirm something and you did, Anglo. You're not the bad guy. I mean, you can say that I interpreted it wrong, but I'll just take that to mean that you didn't intend what you said, which is fine. Same thing. But I interpreted what you said exactly the way you wrote it in the chat. And I think chat agrees with me that I interpreted it the way that it was written in the chat. So just be careful what you write. I probably need to make the dwarves new clothing, to be honest. Let's just make some more cloth and then we'll check our clothing stocks. But the other 30% you learned from it? Yeah. You didn't offend me. You perplexed me. There's a difference. You also don't have to leave. I never said you weren't allowed here. But I think that you need to do some research into the mental health benefits of the habits that I have. Doesn't matter what it does to my body. My body's going to fall apart by the time I'm 40 anyway. Dying young is not a concern for me. Having a decent quality of life is. And my habits provide me a decent quality of life. Although one thing that I do think is ironic if you decide to just like leave my stream and never come back, Anglo, is I literally agree with you. I don't like being high on stream because it makes me like awkward to be around at times. Having an issue again with retina? What's going on? We got so many floaters in my vision, it's fun. I think that there's a lot of people that have unfortunately been brainwashed into believing that, like, I'm not talking about health-wise. I think there's a lot of people that have been inaccurately educated on the effects of certain drugs, which I think is really sad. And also different ways of ingesting drugs, which are significantly less bad for you than unfiltered cigarette smoke or unfiltered joint smoke. I think that's really depressing, actually. I know you have. I know exactly who you are. I see you lurking quite frequently, Anglo. Oh, you didn't upset me. That's the thing. You perplexed me. I've never stated that you offended me or that you upset me. I just wanted to clarify something that you said earlier, which you did, and then you walked back, which is okay. We're all good. Like, there's no issue there. Like, I know for fact you've watched me for a long time. That is fine. But, like, you're the one who's choosing to make a deal out of this. I'm trying to defuse and make good. You're the one choosing to stop watching. That is 1,000% your call. And I wish it wasn't the case. If you think that smoke being inhaled from weed isn't harmful, then you are a crazy person, Mark. It absolutely is harmful. All right, then we all good, Angle. No hard feels. Just be careful about what you say. That is my only request. Did they hook that up yet? We're literally just waiting for them to hook this lever up to the piece on the other side so that I can cave this in. Aside from that, it's all ready to go. We can do a second cave in. The issue with only being able to type is that written words are more often can be lost in translation. I think the issue is you have some very interesting grammar quirks, and in some of your sentences you're lacking things like commas and periods, which makes it even harder to interpret what you're trying to say. Tracks a vibe. This is gonna be a laggy fucking fort to visit in adventure mode. It's a lot of fucking dwarves. This is super pretty. Orchids. That looks a lot like, oh, is that the room that had the humidifier in it? That looks a lot like a room that a friend of mine used, so a friend of mine used to live in this apartment building that had like this common seating area that looked a lot like this. Imagine like that room with that number of plants, but like 3 times as big. It was just like the landlord's hobby. It was just like full of plants, the whole seating area, the common area in that building. Kind of has a sad ending to that story, but I'll spare you the details. Oh, did I forget to open the side door? Shit, I think I did. Yep, totally forgot to open that side door. Hotsa! Poor dwarf. Mike F. This dwarf might actually get too thirsty and have to cancel the job first. Possible. How do you feed a yak? With a shovel. No, how do you feed a yak? You have to pasture them. Pasture them on grass. The other answer I was going for was very carefully. You have to pasture them. Yeah, they're grazers. Although one piece of advice I would have is hate big tobacco companies. Don't hate people who smoke. Just like you should hate crime syndicates and drug dealers, and don't hate heroin addicts. It's not the fault of the people with a problem, it's the fault of the people that are providing them the problem. When it comes to cigarettes, specifically. So your fort is starving. How can you queue up one of the 50 turkeys? Do you have a butcher's shop? Amateur player? Hit Z. Select the turkey. Press B. On the turkey. If you hit BW, it'll tell you the number next to the workshop is the number of them that you have. So if you go to the butcher shop, it'll tell you how many butcher shops you have. Don't know where butcher shop is in this menu. I know what the hotkey is for it. Where is it? I know it's here. There it is. Yeah, I have two. Because I just hit BU or BWU to make one. Don't even think about it. It's another giant jumping spider. Something very amusing to me is that giant jumping spiders are not like an aggressive animal in Dwarf. They're considered non-aggressive. Sorry, puppies, you're all getting slaughtered. Someone seems to have lost their lunch in there. Looks like they're hauling them out, though. That's good. This is Simon Schuer's Sound Sense tracks. These are part of Sound Sense, which is the mod, which or the Effect plugin. I'm just listening to it in a YouTube playlist, though. Jumping spider is about as aggressive as a cow in Dwarf Fortress, so not at all unless you provoke it. So unless like you run up to it and punch it, it's not really gonna fight you, and even then it'll probably run away first. He says that as one of his giant jumping spiders dies. Yeah, one of my dwarves killed one of my pet giant jumping spiders because it looked at him funny, I guess. The dwarves attacked it though, not the other way around. Never the fault of the Spoder. Spoder did nothing wrong. Spoder is cute. Thinking Spoder. Where in the world? Don't even know who's supposed to be. This fort's a bit of a mess right now. I need to clean things up. Say, is nobody like got a mechanics degree, guys? I mean, come on. Z. And then in the Z menu, there's a bunch of menus on the top which are controlled with the numpad or arrow keys. Select animals. And then in this menu, you can go left and right and see all of the animals that your faction knows or has a general familiarity with, considering we have a general familiarity with taming cave spiders? Not giant cave spiders, just cave spiders. General familiarity with jabberers as well. And we also have a general familiarity with taming voracious cave crawlers. Cool faction. Know a few things about giant jumping spiders, which we're currently learning. And same with giant pangolins. And a few things about beak dogs as well. Only a few things about taming weasels. Yeah, you can also see them in the units menu, but you can't designate things to be slaughtered from this menu, so it's no point in showing them on the screen. But yes, you can also see it in that screen. Why is it suspended? What? Why do these keep getting... I keep getting jobs suspended for reasons that I don't understand. But okay. Ten tamed large hawks. Ooh. You can assign those to your... Well, actually, I don't think those are war trainable. gonna say, like, in adventure mode, you could mount them and they then fly away with them. That's kind of awesome. Are they war trainable? Are you able to hit W on them and actually war train them? If giant hawks are war trainable, that's rad. I once had to fight against an elven faction that was completely assimilated by goblins, which, long story short, was just elves, but they were riding giant undead ravens. So I was fighting against an army of elves that were using metal armor and arrows, and they were flying on giant undead ravens. That is maybe the fastest I've had a fort die to a siege ever. At which point I then decided that world was cursed and then generated a new world. Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. Fortunately, elves have a weird quirk where they will only siege until they run out of arrows. The second they run out of arrows, they will just leave. They're the only faction that does that. All other factions will only leave once their forces are depleted to a certain degree, but elves will leave the second they run out of arrows. So they still won and like killed the fort basically, but they left pretty quick. Giant skink running around down there. All right. Let's pull this lever. Round 2. All right, who's coming to pull the lever? Rhinestone's coming to pull the lever. You want to know what's terrifying? Is when they... What did you see? Something. Maybe the monitor lizard? Something scared that dwarf away. All right, now we get Cole, a.k.a. Urist. Obocurist. Cole Obocurist is going to do this instead, because the other one got scared of something. Come on, you can do it. Go pull the lever. Pet availability means what? Pet availability doesn't mean anything. So, well, it does. So when you have an animal, right, there are several options down in the bottom, right? You can train an animal that is not domestic. You can make it available as a pet. If it's available as a pet by pressing enter, then any dwarf who likes that kind of animal can claim it as a pet. If it's hunting trainable, then H is visible, and you can then make a hunting zone and set it as a hunting trained animal. If it's war trainable, then the W right next to hunting training in the bottom is white and lit up. And then you can war train it. Once it's war trained, you can then assign it as a war animal to a military dwarf. So you can take a military dwarf and go to this screen and go to A for work animals and assign a war-trained work animal to it. That's how you war train it. Not very many animals are war training compatible, though. Very few are. Elephants are one of the few that are. So are dogs. So are beaked dogs. I don't know a full list, though. But it's one of those things that's easy to mod if you feel so inclined. Anyway, if you want to see something collapse, you might want to look up right about now, chat, because right about now, this is going to cave in. Unless I did something very wrong. It begins. Actually, no, let's just go up to right about here, where all the wood is. Perfect. So now, more of this will drain faster. And also, since our reservoir is full, I can open her back up. So let's see if we can get into this river, or drain this river to a point where it's walk acrossable, so that we can get some of these poor corpses out of here. Because these dwarves, like Disco Fox and the rest, all deserve proper burials. Which is part of the reason why I'm doing all of this, is just so I can give Ocelot, Disco Fox, and all of them proper burials. Same with, like, this dwarf. Navy vet. They deserve proper burials. Morning, Stone. We're trying to dam off this river. Hotbeards has been pretty successful today, Stone. Pretty good. Although we're going to be switching in about a couple minutes here over to Zomboid, probably. Whoosh. There they all go. So, this now all flows off the map. And the river begins to drain. Damn river. Oh, you know it. So now, hopefully, between the flow on this side and the speed at which it drains, pretty quickly, cheers, Space Pirate. And no, thank you for hanging out. Tomorrow is a day off for me, like a proper day off. Instead of being like some weird editing / recording day. I will be taking tomorrow off. If you're looking to hear my voice though while I'm gone, a new episode of my podcast came out this morning. So I could actually work a little bit harder and drain a little bit more of it, but for now, that's what we got. And look at this. It's already shallow enough that the giant sponge is suffering. It's okay, nothing of value was lost. Curious about how deep it is down here. Yeah, it's like real shallow at this end now. So there is one more spot that we could build up to. Let's do this. That's flooring, not what I wanted. I wanted walls. Your head is thinking about parallel universes? Sometimes I wake up like that. Definitely had days like that. See how much is draining. Because if I can just... Oh, also, there is a ripple in this plan, which is kind of an issue. The waterfall is still, you know, distributing water up here, right? Which I totally wasn't thinking about. But I really just want to get some of these bodies out of here. I really need to clean this river up. Maybe I need to make another drain over here. But this is certainly damming off part of it. Certainly damming part of it. Huh, look at this. Our giant sponge is slipping. You don't see them move very often unless the current takes them there. Let's cave in a little more. Or maybe potentially we should do this, but above the waterfall so we can drain the bottom of the waterfall. Maybe that's how we'll have to do this. Fortunately, this is real quick and easy, so... So now we gotta pull this lever and connect it to that support right there. Name the same name but physically different, like phonetical twin of resemblance. Yeah, they did that all the time in Star Trek, so yes, I'm very familiar. Very familiar with the concept and subject. In fact, I consider myself an expert on certain episodes of Star Trek, so. Very much so. Not really. Certainly no expert, but I'm familiar with the concept, yes. Some pretty good episodes of Star Trek, though. Because Star Trek is a real-life documentary, right? I'm pretty sure. You're an old Western. Sheesh. But most of the time they just add the same actors in different costumes, maybe with a beard. Sometimes it's even like the same costumes, but like a different color palette. But, yeah. I definitely have like one of the multiverse comics in this apartment somewhere. And there's a huge chunk where it's just like, hey, the dwarves of the sweltering sand have attained a general familiarity with giant jumping spider training methods. That's great. But yeah, no, they're generally not that different. They usually just use the same actors, yeah. So we're going to cave all this in, basically. Oopsies. But nothing's actually going to go off until we want it to. Controlled cave-ins are some of my favorite ways to... Not flex. Flex is the wrong word. Controlled cave-ins are one of my favorite ways to just be like, yeah, I know how to play Dwarf Fortress. You know what I mean? I don't know if flex is the right word, but flex is the only one that's coming to my mind right now, but it's one of my favorite ways to kind of... I thought that I made you a... Oh no, that's the Rosy Guild. Apparently the Flowery Hall was a different guild. Whoops. Mubby. Must have forgotten one of my guild agreements. Anyway, but yeah, controlled cave-ins are one of my favorite ways to just show people that, yeah, I know how to play this game. I thought that dwarf was going to fall. And then he didn't. That's cool. It's kind of like my way of showing off at Dwarf Fort. Because if you can make a controlled cave-in, you know what you're doing in this game. Parallel universes are a fascinating subject. I'll say that, Stone. Outside of, like, science fiction TV, I don't really have much knowledge of it, though. It's what you brain wanted to think about when you started waking up. Yeah, fair enough. This morning, my brain was just like, ah, fuck, I have to get out of bed for a meeting. That's about all my brain thought about this morning. You're choking on a marble in your game? Oh, on marble. My brain inserted an in that. It's like, choking on a... Why are you choking on... Stop putting marbles in your mouth. What are you, like a 4-year-old? I was very perplexed for a second. I was like, what are you talking about? Did that get hooked up? Not quite. Cool. Nothing but blocks? Well, you should make more blocks and less butt blocks. I'm very funny and have a very nuanced sense of humor, as you can tell. Pew, 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 pew. They lost access to the wood that was used there. And here comes the mechanism for the lever. Yeah, I think we'll do this last cave in and then I'm gonna swap over to Zomboid. What's the plan? Speaking of, I think that those cigarettes... Stone mentioned that there are cigarettes waiting for me, which is good too. Leafy Guild. Rangers Guild now requires a Grand Guild Hall. All right, so the Leafy Guild, the Guild of Rangers, requires a bigger guild hall, which is this guild. So I will place some chairs, and thrones. Putting a pedestal in there. Put some artifacts or gems or something. New accommodation plans? Ooh. Why was I expecting that to be a picture of plants? Did you just hand designate that thing? I like the, regardless of if you did or didn't, I really like the round rooms at the center. That's cool. I like the circular walkways and the kind of erratic nature of it. It's cool. It was painful? How so? You should, like, uninstall the thumbtacks from your keyboard then. It'll make it less painful. Damn, you forgot those thumbtacks? I know, right? Your life will be so much less painful without it. And I know this may seem hard to believe, but even playing Dwarf Fortress will be more fun. If you're not, like, constantly hurting yourself with thumbtacks. Alright, so that's all hooked up, yeah? Nope. I got another trigger to link up next. Let's just cancel that. It's fine. So we're going to be dropping all of this right down to here. How deep is this? Yeah, boy. Still not quite shallow enough that we can get to any of this. But look at how shallow this is. This is shallow enough that we can walk across the river now. Not quite shallow enough that we can go get these bodies yet. It's getting there though. I think if we do another drain on Tuesday or something that cuts across right here, or on Wednesday, that cuts across here. Down to here. Could absolutely do that. It's only 80 rooms. Well, I mean, I have all those, and then also all of these, and all of these, and all of these. And that's barely enough. In fact, I'm convinced I still don't have enough. Yeah, some of my dwarves don't have bedrooms. Damn it, Dwarf, you're so slow. Although, fortunately, this will probably be the last one that I actually need to do. By being brave, I think. Thinking of Star Trek makes you think of how Patrick Stewart played a character. Oh, you mean how, like, Picard was supposed to be French? I mean, canonically, isn't Picard, like, lived in France for quite a while. It's been a long time since I watched Next Gen. I'm not an authority on Star Trek, so don't treat me like one. I will claim to be, but I'm not. Don't mind that giant jumping spider. Speaking of spiders, I want to show you guys something. Just a warning, if you are scared of spiders, this does include a spider jumping on the camera. I ended up looking at Reddit because I just popped up that spider gif for you guys. But I'm looking at I ended up on the Vancouver subreddit, which is just as much of a clusterfuck as most of the Canada subreddits right now. But I like this person's post, which is just, this pandemic has driven some people out of their fucking minds, and then responded by, correction, this pandemic has showed us how many people are out of their fucking minds. And you know what? Good job, Reddit. You did it. Page not found? Pardon? Found. Okay, hold up. Let me try this again. Maybe Reddit's just derping. That, or I somehow managed to, like, delete one piece of the... I have no idea. I mean, it works on mine. Top one doesn't. Bottom one did. So, try that. Oh, I see. I somehow managed to delete the Y in the middle. That should fix it. This is adorable. It's so cute, isn't it? God damn it. It's like you died of an adorable spoder hug. Time for almost to go fix the problem that the other dwarf started and didn't finish. I wonder where you're gonna run to go get that. Let's just make a custom stockpile really quick. Want trap components. Actually, idiot. I'm really curious about how many things are brought up there. We're gonna need quite a few of them. Especially because I'm gonna need to plug more drains. This chat is just like a flood of Reddit links right now. That's pretty. Looks like it needs more sun than I have to give it, though. Also, this dwarf's moving really slowly. Move faster, dwarf. Bum, 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 bum. Finish linking this building to trigger dwarf. You can do it. I know that those are all made of lead and thus they're very heavy. I don't even know what that is, I think. Then you didn't because you'd already gotten 2 plants in a 2-day period. Yeah. Are you like new to houseplants? I can't tell if I asked you that previously. Oh, I didn't even read the title. I just looked at the picture. I don't have any Reddit links, but here's a there is multiple levels of pun in that. That is indeed an adorable lynx. Kitty! Slightly bigger than normal kitty. Also, I like the fact that Captions thinks that I said cake, not kitty. Slightly bigger than normal cake. We're in late winter. How does this dwarf feel? You seem pretty happy. That isn't funny? Wait, what? Attic your? Attic your control? Ah! His last name is Attic your, so it's Attic your control. On what is and isn't funny. So we're going to finish connecting this. And then I literally just press the go button. We just pull the lever, and then we get to cave in one final piece. So yeah, sometimes you have to have your cake and pet it too. Don't you want to pet your cake? You never wanted to pet a, like, real good-looking cake? Let's let this lever astray. Give it a yoink. Looks like Axon here is doing the, got a fever, is doing the honors of pulling the lever. So if only it was a dwarf that, like, was closer. So this is going to collapse, which is going to cause it to go wee all the way down into here. I'm curious, how shallow is this? Wow, that is so shallow. 1 of 2. Dwarves could walk across this entire river now. So there's only one reason they're not. And the reason they are not walking across this river currently is because it's all set to restricted. What's up, missionary? We're draining a really large river. We're going to try and dam it off. Although, I'm going to also have to drain underneath here first. But I am actively draining this river faster than it is filling right now. That's what's up. We're waiting for Axon, the chief medical dwarf, to pull a lever. We're just talking about how you can have your cake and pet it too. But we're about to switch games. Because I've been streaming about 8 hours of Dwarfs today, and I want to go do other things. I'm going to build a glass dome. I found sand, so maybe. I hadn't thought about it, but maybe. Or rather, there is sand up here, too. So, I could. I'd have to be green, though. I don't have any rock crystals. Not that I've seen, anyway. But currently I'm just using it. I'm mostly draining it right now so that I can get those bodies out from the bottom of it, because there are some good dwarves that deserve proper dwarven burials that are currently just like bloated and gutted at the bottom of that river. And frankly, they deserve better. But I'm definitely going to build a dam, at the very least. But we have to be careful while doing that. And there's another part that I gotta set up drains for. Hope that that little defense wall is going to be enough to keep this dwarf from going wee over the edge. All right, round of beers for the final controlled cave-in of the day. Just type in the word beer, chat. Or the, you know, crypt beer if you happen to be subscribed, or the beers emoji or all that crap. Oopsies. All the way down. There it goes. You're still in favor of a glass walkway? I mean, if it drains enough, I'm not against the idea. Well, it's shallow enough that the dwarves could walk on it, although if they fell in here, it is quite likely that they'd drown, so still have to be careful about what we do down here. But I think we just let that drain for a bit. The problem is next time we get sieged, we're gonna... Uh-oh. Where's Axon? Oh, I'm just cleaning self. That's fine. You got Dusty. And Darren used to be rich. Check, can we get another round of beers for Darren, who used to be rich? Big congrats to that. And all that being said, chat, we've played a good 8 hours today, which is about 7 hours and 30 minutes of this fort today, I think, all in all. Thanks for the 74 cents. First money in 1 hour. First bits in 6 hours. Cheers, man. The 74 cents. We are gonna go play some Project Zomboid. But until then, a little quick overview of the fort. This fort's getting bigger than I'd planned it to be. We did kill a siege today. Cleaned up a lot of bodies. That's not something that's not supposed to be in it. No, it's just stairs. So today, our biggest triumph was that we went all the way down here and set this so it's now draining. You can tell that it's draining because the stuff is not just sitting at the bottom of the waterfall anymore, it's now flowing, meaning the water is pulling it elsewhere. So instead of just being stuck in the current, it is actually draining. I'm not sure how much it's going to drain. I'm probably going to need to make another drain right about here or about here. Depends on where I can actually safely cave stuff in. So that's what we'll do the next time we stream this, is do that. Deal with that. This is now draining off the map down here. We found the third cavern layer as well. Second. And a dwarf has named their hammer. And maybe we'll dig too deep. I don't know. But that is hot beards currently. Should have called it wet beards, frankly. We still got some ways to go before we're done with this fort. So I hope that you join me next time for it. Been away for a few days? Hell yeah, Lorenz. Hell yeah. But we are done with Dwarf Fortress for the day. There are some other people streaming Dwarfs right now if you would like to go watch Dwarves on Twitch. That being said, if you want to watch more of my Dwarves, how do you force Dwarves to use a meeting area? You have to make a burrow with the W key. If you want to watch more Dwarves on my channel, there's a link to my YouTube channel where there's more Dwarf Fortress than you could reasonably watch in a lifetime. And if you want to support the dwarfy stuff I do, there's a link to the Patreon. But go to the wiki page called Burrows. That's how you force them to use a meeting area. But unless you just are talking about making a tavern, because if you don't know how to make a tavern, you use the I key, set it as a meeting zone, and then hit lowercase I, or is it A to add? I can't actually remember. I need to look at it. It says A to add, and then set it as a / Yeah, it's A to add, and then lowercase I for /tavern. Set that zone, and then they'll go there. Hey, Tonak, we're just swapping games. We're about to jump over to some Zomboid. Thank you very much for the raid, though. What's up, dude? What are we playing? You want Cogmine stuff today? Oh, no, you're playing that one game that I can't say the name of out loud without sounding like I'm saying something else. Which I just call Vegemite. But thanks for the raid. Cheers. I hope that your stream was good. Like I said, we're still streaming. We're just swapping it. We're jumping over to Cogmind and Vegemite. Well, that's good. You need a balanced diet, after all. I have a sub-server for me and my stream team